Hi, I'm Matt Little. I'm the Director of Counselling and Education, Empowering Awareness.Asia, and I'm a proud sponsor of this podcast.
How are
Uh,
you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Very good. It's nice to
Hey,
see you finally. I think it's taken us 3 months to get together on online.
yeah. Firstly, thank you very much for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
You're welcome.
I've gone through profile. I can see you have worked in multiple places and in multiple roles, starting from programming till today. So I thought to tell about your work to my audience and your experiences to my audience.
Sure, that sounds good. Yeah,
So can you please introduce yourself, my audience?
so my name's Justin Hayes Jones, and I'm a principal software engineer at Treasure Data. I've been working in software for about 25 years. Worked on lots of different kinds of software, and always been interested in software since I was a little kid. So where would you like me to start?
So where are you from?
Um, I was I'm from England, and I lived in England for let's see, 30 years, and then moved to Canada. So I've been in Canada for a long time, and I live in near the city of Vancouver in BC.
So can you tell about your present role and what made you to come here?
My current role, I work on marketing software, or also known as MarTech, and Treasure Data is a customer data platform. So what they provide is ways to manage data on the customers of enterprise companies. So um, from my perspective, they have a lot of interesting challenges in terms of computer systems. Sort of high volumes of data and uh, high volumes of real-time events coming into the system at the same time, and we have to process those events quickly. So from a software engineering perspective, there's lots of interesting things to do. And so I was looking for that kind of challenge, looking for a company that was creating new applications um, in the area where I found it challenging to work. So mainly that's distributed systems.
So what exactly you do?
What do I do? So I'm a principal engineer, which means I have a technical leadership role, and it involves sometimes writing code, sometimes helping people write code. And a lot of what I do is about communication. So acting as a bridge between our product department, our customers, our developers, and the management. Trying to coordinate all the information and make it clear to everybody.
So writing code and speaking with people. So how you are able to be good at both?
Um, well, I started out good at programming, and for me, communicating with people, speaking, is something I had to work harder at than programming. So, how did I get better at it? Um, One thing I do is things like this, the opportunity to do interviews and public speaking. Uh, Very helpful to help you get better at communicating ideas. Um, I did some conference talks a few years ago, and they help. And I also spend a lot of time thinking about how to document software and spend a lot of time making documentation, videos, things like that. Because I find people like to learn about things different ways. So some people prefer a video. Some people like to talk directly. Some people like documents. So I find that communicating over all those channels is the best way to get an idea across to a team.
So 25 years you saw the software engineering. So what is your definition about it?
Well, when I started, I was a programmer, not a software engineer. So software engineer is a new title, I think, that came. But software engineering, I think of it as being uh, about the end-to-end life cycle of an application. So you start with the idea, you work on the architecture, you work on the system requirements and the implementation, and once you've delivered the application, you're responsible for keeping it running. So I mostly work on server applications, so a big part of that is the operations side, making sure everything runs smoothly. So I see software engineering as that whole range of activities to bring an idea into production.
So 25 years, the evolution of technology you saw, you are the witness of the constant change that happened in the technology and in the industry. And
Mm.
when it comes to the end-to-end software development and software management, what are those major changes that you know that that you have seen and where we are going right now?
Yeah, there's been a number of changes. So when I first started programming, I used the C language and assembly language, writing very low level code for video games. And over time, even the video game industry moved away from those low level languages to C++, and they needed a higher level of abstraction. So that was a gradual change, the change from low level languages to higher level languages. And you see that today in server software where people can write in high level languages like TypeScript, um, Kotlin, and still get good enough performance to run on large scale. So that's one change. The other change is quite new with the generative AI. So when I was at university, I studied artificial intelligence, but it was a very different subject back then. It was more about symbolic AI. So somebody would sit down and try to write a Lisp program that understood natural language, and it turned out it didn't scale. So some people wrote some incredible software back in those days, but it didn't scale to being able to handle human language. And so the recent changes with machine learning and then with generative AI are having a profound effect on the industry. So they're already affecting. We're already adopting them at my company, and I use generative AI when I write code now. So that's a pretty big change.
So right now you're working on this role and uh, which you are responsible for, software lifecycle. So how do you feel? Like what is your thoughts about your work?
um, I'm working on a new product line, so there are challenges there because we're writing new code and we're moving fast. And when you're creating a new product, especially a SaaS product, you have to work closely with the product team and the customers to make sure that what you're building meets the need of customers. So means that we need to be agile in the sense of the word, that we can change direction as needed. So from my perspective, I enjoy that part of it. It's exciting, but it's also a challenge. So this is why I'm often very busy. That's why it took us a while to get a good time to talk. But Yeah, so it's a busy job, but I enjoy it.
So, what do you like most about the work that you do?
Well, I really enjoy writing code, right, programming. I don't think everybody does, but some people really do. So that part of it I really enjoy. But as I work on bigger systems, I also enjoy being able to build systems like Lego blocks. So instead of just writing code, you design a system and then we use Amazon AWS. So it's about learning how to combine all of those different features in Amazon to make the application that you want. So yeah, I enjoy that part. So I enjoy the low level code, but also as it expands out into bigger applications, I also like building at that scale too.
So, what actually helped you to be adaptive and be ready for new things that are happening in technology all these years?
Yeah, I think it's important to keep up to date. So the way that I keep up to date is keep my eye on the social platforms like X. I make sure I follow some interesting technical people, see what they're talking about, and other news sites like that. But also it's about proof of concept work, side projects. So I enjoy picking up a new technology and playing with it to see how it works. And I think that's often very useful because when we're deciding what to build next, it's good to have a good understanding of what your options are.
So, how you are able to give exactly what your client needs?
um, well, from my role, I work through the product team, and we have a product team who spends a lot of time talking with the customer. And the customer will say, "We have this use case. Can you support it?" And the product team collects those together, and then we review them. And so it's really about that collaboration process of mapping what the customers want with what we can fit into our development timeline.
So, what is new that is driving you to do every day and wake up in the morning and do this?
That's a good question. I think it's you need to take some time every now and then to celebrate a victory. So uh, every day when you go into work, you see problems, and uh, as a principal engineer, you're always in the biggest problem. Like that's part of my role. But it's great to see when the customer is using a new service and not having any problem, everything is working fine, and then you can take a moment to feel satisfied that the team built something that is useful.
So, what are your learning resources?
Hmm, that depends on the thing. So yeah, mostly if I'm learning a new programming language, I will use the documentation, or quite often I find that the person who invented the programming language writes the best book on it. So for example, if you're reading a book about C++, then you should read a book by Stroustrup because he's the one that understands the philosophy of the language. So that's where I start for programming languages. And also I tend to use Discords these days. So if I start working in a new language or technology, uh, often there's a Discord where you can ask questions and learn. And that's a useful resource. Um,
So, what? Yeah, go on.
oh, and YouTube, of course. Yeah, there's a lot of good information on YouTube.
What are your skill set and have you wrote any book?
No, I've never written a book. I've written quite a lot of blog posts, technical blog posts, and I used to do a programming series on YouTube about functional programming called Functional Justin. Um, but yeah, I enjoy making content like that when I get time. But um, I haven't written a book. I haven't had an idea for a book that I feel passionate about, and I think writing a book is a big time commitment and doesn't always pay off. So it has to be something that you really want to do. That's my opinion, anyway.
So what are your skill set?
Uh, Mainly it's technical knowledge in my domain about how to build systems that are scalable and reliable. And the sort of sub skills that come with that are technical knowledge, um, uh, being able to judge what's the best way to solve problems, being able to delegate and communicate with people across the team. Those are the main areas.
So how you're able to be successful in delivering the product or the service that you work?
Um, so it comes from a successful delivery comes from planning. Um, and there's a famous quote, planning is essential, but plans are worthless. So we spend time planning, deciding, making estimates, and then we constantly revise them as we progress. Software, uh, creating an application is about discovery, and I think that's why agile is important. Uh, Need to be able to iterate and change direction. So delivering on time is a combination of your initial planning, making sure you're doing the right thing, and then being able to adapt as you develop, as you discover. Maybe you discover a problem, or maybe you discover that it doesn't solve the problem. So there's that part of it, and then the other part is team management to make sure that everybody on the team is understands what their role is, what they should be doing, and so there's no wasted cycles. So if you get those things together, then you can deliver on time.
So being communicating with the machine and communicating with humans. So how different it is and how you are able to uh, be good at both.
Mm. I like that question because today it's almost the same thing to talk to a machine as a human, and I think as time goes on, it will be the same. That we will talk to computers, we won't program computers. But for today, um, I think talking to a computer is about a rigid grammar. You tell it exactly what to do, and it will do it. Whereas with a human, it's more hazy, more so you have to repeat yourself, and you have to um, present idea in different ways.
So today you are looking at artificial intelligence.
Mm,
So you have understood communicating with the machine and you have understood communicating with humans for this
mm.
25 years being in this profession. And today, a new technology, artificial intelligence machine. So what are your thoughts?
Well, there's a lot of things to say. for for one thing, programming will change, and I think it's already changed for a lot of people. So many people use generative AI for programming today. A couple of years ago, maybe people would have dismissed it and said, "I don't think that will work." But now, I think it's clear that you can be a lot more productive if you embrace generative AI. So um, that's one thing. And the other thing is what will happen in the future. Um, how long will people need to write code? And how long will people need to be directly involved in software development? Um, And personally, I think for a while it will be something like when when airplanes got autopilot, we didn't fire all the real pilots. We still need those people, and I expect that the role of a software developer will change from being writing code to a more talking to the computer and using generative tools. But I expect we'll still need a programmer there for the judgment and wisdom that they bring to translate the ideas of the end users of the software into the actual system. And that's my speculation.
So you have been in technology from a long time. So what is the connection between human and software?
Um, well, I guess humans are software in a way, running on biology machine. So in that sense, it's the same. Um, but yeah, I think as society, our relationship with software will change from being that we create it to software is sort of a living thing that creates itself. Maybe in the far future it will be that way.
So when do actually software started helping humans more in last few years? When did you understand that software is going to make all countries connected with each other and can able to communicate and share information between uh, long distance?
Um, I think uh, when computers came along, it changed people's lives in that they could do things more quickly. So instead of getting a file from a cabinet, I can get it from the computer, right? So when I order pizza now, I can do on a website or an application. But I think where we were going will be when I order pizza, I'll just ask an AI to order me a pizza, and it means that for a lot of people, they don't like to use the website, they don't like applications, but they don't mind talking to something, so they can just say to their phone or whatever device, order me the same pizza I had last week, please, and it will go ahead and do it. I think that would be the first stage of AI's proliferation when people can start to use computers that way, and that's probably not that far away, I think.
So when you started programming in your early days, have you thought that you are going to be witnessing uh, and being in a generation where artificial intelligence is a technology that is going to be there?
I think it was unexpected, and I can tell you why. Because when I studied AI, natural language seemed a long way away. Uh, so people in the 80s and the 90s got natural language processing to 90% of the way there, and then realized that the last 10% was going to be very difficult. And companies like Google figured out that they could do natural language processing with large amounts of data. And that started the machine learning. Um, Applications for machine learning became much better at machine translation than the programs that people were writing. But in terms of writing program code, I thought probably would never happen. And the reason I say it because when you're writing code, if you think of it as a traditional sort of search problem, most AI programs were search based. So when I write the beginning of a computer program, what comes next could be anything, and it's a huge search base. So I thought, no, computers will never be able to write code. But with the invention of the transformer architecture, um, it quickly became apparent that computers could write code and they could also write human language, English language, no problem, or any language for that matter. Uh, so yeah.
So, in your experience, you have spent a lot of time in communicating with humans and communicating with machines.
Mm.
And today, as a principal software engineer, what loopholes that you are, observing in software engineering still?
Sorry, I don't understand the question exactly. What do you mean by a loophole?
The mistakes.
Oh, you mean if I write code with generative AI, what kind of issue should I look for?
Uh, in the engineering process, it was in this profession, it was necessary for you to communicate with humans.
Mm.
You have done that uh, quite long time in your life,
Yeah,
and to help humans with the software that you're building, you worked on machines and you interacted with machines, and you become good at it. Here you have two different skill set: communication skill,
yeah.
communicating with human and machine. And today, you as a principal software engineer, do you see uh, something is going wrong or something should be fixed by the technology experts or world leaders, technology company leaders,
Mm.
that they have to concentrate on this because human communication, machine human communication.
I see. Yeah, that's a great question. Um, I think there's a couple of issues. There's AI safety. So we want the AI to not say rude words or not tell you how to make a bomb and all that kind of stuff, right? And I don't find that stuff that interesting because I can Google the rude words. I can Google how to make a bomb if I want. So I don't see that as a big challenge. Um, then there's the issue of how reliable is the software that you create with AI, and whether that needs some kind of regulation. Um, and that sort of goes back to why I think software engineers should be the people doing the software creation, um, at least in the near term, because you can copy and paste code onto the page, but you're still a professional responsible for that code, right? So you better understand it. You better make sure that it has tests, and you better make sure that it does what it does. You should use the AI as a tool, um, not like a crutch. So I think that comes down to personal responsibility. Does that answer your question, or you're also interested in something more broad?
Yeah, to the leaders, technology
So,
company leaders.
mm, right. So, from a commercial perspective, I think all technology leaders should be thinking about how to use AI. If they don't use the new tool, then they will be falling behind their competitors. Um, and in terms of world leaders, I think they have the same responsibility to encourage AI development in their countries because uh, I don't think it's good for the world if one country is the best at AI. I think we need competition and we need open access to the technology. And then there's the existential risk of AI taking over the world, something like that. And I'm pretty doubtful that that will happen, um, just based on the fact that I can turn off a computer system if I don't like it, and I think as long as we have safeguards and people in charge of developing software, I'm not too worried about those kind of end of the world scenarios.
So the AI contribution today to the humanity. So observing this, uh, how software engineers are uh, uh, going to be what is their role is going to be in coming days because AI, uh, you know, observing the the highest technology that we have today, AI. What is the software engineer role is going to be?
I think in the near term, software engineer role is uh, increasingly use AI tools to create code. So it will be something that just makes you more productive. And as the AIs get more capable, um, they will be able to build entire systems. But at that point, the software engineer's role is about the requirements for the system and what are the guardrails for the system. Um, is the data secure? Does the system do what we want it to? So sort of like the software engineer's role becomes more of a guide, uh, but you're still the expert in the system and how it works, right? So we don't want the AI to create a huge blob of code and have it running and not have any systematic confidence that it works.
So you worked more as a engineer and as a programmer, as a coder. So have you also involved in business side of the technology?
Um, Not really. As an employee, I can focus on my technical work, but it's important to me to understand uh, how our customers use the software, and I find it much more enjoyable if I can empathize with the customer. I know what they're trying to do, and I know how our software works, and that comes from when I used to make video games. So you're working on a video game, but I also play video games, so I can play the game while I'm making it, and I know if it's good or not. So it makes the job more fun because day by day I can see it becoming a real game instead of just a lot of things on the screen.
What are your qualities that help you to be good at your work?
Um, I think one of them is tenacity. So I have to, if I get stuck on a problem, I just keep at it and see it as a challenge. So yeah, never give up on a problem. And I think even if I'm not the smartest guy in technology, but if I hit a problem, I just keep going at it. And I think sometimes that's all that's needed is time and effort on a problem. And it's the same with learning. You can learn things. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room to learn something. You can just read the book, do the exercises, spend time, and you can understand things better.
So how you adapted yourself to the constant change?
I think it's easy for me because I was very interested in technology. My main interests were functional programming and AI, and I sort of stopped paying attention to AI for quite a while because the main uses for AI were these big batch machine learning processes and didn't find it that interesting. But when the generative AI papers came out and the very first chat GPT, I was very interested. I thought, oh, this is something new. It's going to change a lot of things. So, yeah, I just find it naturally drawn to it.
So how do you see this companies moving their software, business softwares to the cloud?
Um, well, I think pretty much everywhere I work now is cloud based. So, it was probably 10 years ago that I was working on server software that ran in the building that I was in, and you could actually go down and reboot the machine. uh, so everyone is cloud-based, and I was working as a cloud consultant a few years ago too. And yeah, everybody wants to be on the cloud, I think, unless you're working at a very big scale and you can afford your own hardware. It makes sense. I think the speed of development is more important than the hardware and hosting costs for most people, for most companies.
So what excites you when you see other software engineers doing something that you don't know?
Yeah, it's always good because if it's someone on my team working on something that I'm not experienced with, I can get that firsthand experience from them. So yeah, what is this good for, and why do you like it?
So how does experience actually helps in technology?
I think experience helps because you see the very similar problems repeated. So it might not be the same problem, but similar pattern. And you can say, oh yeah, I think we should solve this way because I solved this problem the other way, and it sucks. But the other thing is that I always listen to the team members' ideas, and when as a principal, I don't have the best idea, and it's not my job to have the best idea. It's my job to hear everyone's ideas, and if somebody's idea can win on the technical merit, then that's the one that we go for.
So how you are able to build softwares that will be useful after 10 years?
Hmm, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, 10 years is a long time in software, so um, you should probably think about the lifetime of the software when you're at the architecture time. So when you first think about it, so you should think about in terms of the programming languages you're using and things like that. So if I'm using some niche programming language that nobody might be using in 5 years, that's probably a bad idea, right? So sometimes it means sticking to the mainstream, most popular programming languages and frameworks. Um, I think people feel safe building on AWS. They don't expect AWS to shut down, say, S3 or Lambda anytime soon. Um, so those are some factors.
So how AI impacted your job?
Um, well, the first thing we noticed is that most of our engineers are using AI, and uh, it speeds up a lot of things. And even in technical discussions, somebody might ask a question, and we can get an answer right away in the call on using AI, and that just generally speeds things up. And at a company level, we use AI. Um, we give people AI tools, not just the engineering team, but all of the teams, and we integrate it with our platform so that both our internal people and customers can use AI to use our product more easily.
So working on different projects, what actually that teaches you?
Yeah, I've worked in different industries, different kinds of projects, and so it's important to think about what you've learned may not be directly useful. So different industries have different requirements. So, for example, video games, there's a big focus on memory management, not wasting any memory, making sure everything is very fast. But then when you move to what you might call web scale technology, it's the focus becomes reliability and being able to scale by adding machines and focusing on the speed of different systems and how they interact. And yeah, so there's a lot of different areas. So sometimes you can move between industries, and half of what you know is useful, and the other half is not. So it's about figuring out which is which.
So you're advancing yourself, trying to adapt to the new things that are happening and that are going to happen. So how you are able to uh, be still, you know, uh, have that, great professional life, being with the people who are outdated.
Hmm. Yeah, so your question is, how do you work with the people outdated?
Yeah.
Yeah, generally I work with people who are younger than me and they're not outdated. They're very they keep on the ball too. Uh, but yeah, there is a place for the people who focus on one technology and they can do that as a career sometimes. You might be a Java programmer working on some bank software, and you'll always have a job because that software is never going to change. So there's a place in the industry for that kind of thing.
So understanding different architectures. So how it is for you looking at new things every day?
Um, yeah, it can be overwhelming, but I think it seems like things are going extremely fast, but the major changes are actually quite slow. So I think if you look at the AI adoption, it will it will probably be 10 years before everybody's using AI significantly. Um, so even though things move quickly, the actual changes in your day job might move a bit slower.
So working with machines, do you see any change in you as human?
Um, that's a good question. I don't know. I think I've been working machines since I was a kid, so uh, yeah, I've always been that way.
And at last, what do you say to the business leaders or engineers for watching and listening to you from anywhere on this planet?
I would say adopt AI and be more productive. Yeah, I think some people might see it as taking their job or something like that. But I think it's better to try the new tools, make sure you understand them, make sure that you learn how to leverage them.
So at last, what's your observation about my work? Have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
Yeah, I've been watching them. I think what you're doing is really fun and meeting lots of different kinds of people. So yeah, I watched one by the uh, the game director at EA. That was yeah, there was some overlap with what I used to do, so I was kind of interested. But I watched a few, and I think it's interesting that you talk to lots of different kinds of people. Very good channel.
So how does talking with different experts from different parts of the world and also who are into different working on different domains, engineers, architects, also who are working on the business side of the technology. You have experience 25 plus years, you have seen a lot of technology business. So how the work that I'm doing is going to contribute to me and to my personal career, also to the company or to the experts that I'm going to work with.
Well, I think it's nice to hear from real people because when you look at if you're looking for a job, say you look at the website and you see the job description, but you don't really know what it's like to work there, what kind of work they do on a day-to-day basis. And so when you talk to real people, you can see, oh, this is what's important to them. This is what they do. Yeah, and I think that's valuable.
And what is your observation about my questioning in this conversation?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I mean, I interview people usually for job interviews, and it's hard to have a good, interesting list of questions. So yeah, you had some good questions, made me think about things. So it's good from that perspective.
So, can you share your online presence to my business so that they can able to learn from you?
Yes. So I have a website. It's justinhj at github.io. And that's my technical blog, and also has a link to my conference talks and videos, YouTube videos.
I'll
Yeah, and
share
you
the
can.
link. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Do you have any other links or?
I think that's the main one. So that one has all my socials, and yeah, it's a good place to start.
So I'll share that link in the description, also in my website and also on the screen as well. People who find this video anywhere in the internet can able to see your work and can able to learn from you and can improve themselves.
That's great. Thank you.
Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Of course.
Also, can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Justin, for your valuable time and sharing your experiences and answering to some of my questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Sai. Thank you for your patience. I'm glad we finally got to do it.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.